Alright, I know what you're thinking. Yes, I know I'm addicted. This is the 5th Orcust video I've uploaded this week, which is a pretty absurd amount, and I even tried to try out Ojama Orcust. Yeah, don't play that decklist, by the way. It was a little bit silly, but it definitely sucked. Yeah, I have a problem. Anyway, that's not the purpose of today's video. This video is I want to show off one of the strongest combinations that nobody is running, and I don't know why. As I'm out of all the uploads I've done so far, this decklist by far felt the best. Like, by far. This is a very strong combination, and everybody is sleeping on it. Let me give you a bit of an example. Let's just say your opponent had an untargetable, indestructible monster on field that had a quick effect pop attached to it. Then they had 3 back row as well. Name a deck in Duel Links that can play through that. Because I know one. It's the subject of today's video. This decklist, I'm almost certain, is the best going second decklist in the entirety of Duel Links. And it doesn't run a single MST, a single Cosmic Cyclone, or a single Forbidden Lance. So here's today's deck list. Now just a reminder before I get into the deck list, if you guys are enjoying today's video and want to see more content just like this in the future, especially if you're a returning viewer, so apparently about 35% of people watching this are even subscribed to the channel, meaning 65% of you haven't clicked that button yet. So if you guys are enjoying this content and want to see more videos just like this in the future, remember to leave a like on this video and consider subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, let's get into this deck list. Alright, so I'm not exaggerating when I say this. This deck list, in my opinion, is probably one of the cleanest deck lists I have ever built. And what I mean by that is, there's like nothing in here I would change. There's like nothing in here I'm like considering maybe I'd swap this for something else, or ratios are wrong, or there's nothing. The only thing that I might change maybe is the skill, because it didn't really come up all that often. I think in the 15 games I played with this deck, I don't think I ever actually used it once, so maybe it's a little bit overkill. The reason I'm using it is because it lets you turn any of these cards into an Edge Imp Sabre by putting it in the graveyard, then you can summon back the Edge Imp Sabre, then if you have any monster on the field, you can just turn it into your Orcust combo, so it basically prevents this deck from bricking. But like I said, I'd never bricked anyway, so I never really needed to use it. Maybe I just got lucky with hands, so I don't know, this skill, if you want to change it, try something else, feel free, but that's basically it. This fusion monster I could change as well, as it never really came up, but I still like having it there, as it lets you fusion summon using this dude, because the other fusion monsters, they require specifically Sabres, and this one, it requires just an Edge Imp monster, so it lets you fuse with this one, so that may come up at some point. Didn't come up when I was playing, but it might, so I probably will keep it, but everything else, I literally wouldn't change. So for those of you that have never played Fluffal before, the entire purpose of the Fluffal deck list is it basically wants to go second, because this deck's going second is crazy, even before all the Orcust stuff is added into the deck. The reason we're playing the Orcust stuff is basically because, well, this deck list was only ever held down by one thing. It has no play going first. All its fusion monsters are designed to go second, nuke your opponent's field, and beat your opponent a billion times. It has literally no way of going first. Until now. Now, I don't want to spend too much time talking about the Orcust stuff, as let's be honest, I've uploaded like a billion videos on this, and you've seen it on the ladder a billion times. You know what it all does by now. Any 2 monsters on the field with different names, you just turn into your Knightmare Unicorn, turn into your Knightmare Mermaid, summon out your Orcust, blah 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 blah, end on whatever field. You'll see it during the replay if you've never seen it before, but anyway, you basically end on a Evening Star with your trap card on field, so if your opponent ever tries to summon anything, you can remove it, and if your opponent ever tries to break your field, you can protect it. So you end on essentially 3 monsters on field a lot of the time, and a trap card that makes it really goddamn hard for your opponent to kill you. And that is all you're planning to do. You're not planning to win off that turn 1 field, you just want the turn to pass back to you. Because in doing so, you're probably going to win instantly. So for those of you that have never played Fluffal before, let me give you a little bit of a rundown on what the cards do. So the first one is your dog. This card on special summon or normal summon can search for any Fluffal card or any Edge Imp card straight from your deck, add it to your hand. Then we have your Edge Imp Chain. This card, when it is sent to the graveyard, will basically search for your fusion spell over here, so that's basically all he's here for. He's also good with your skill, because you can send him to the graveyard to send this dude to the graveyard, which, like I said, this card in graveyard can just summon itself back to the field, to then be used as 2 names to make your Knightmare combo. Also, this card, by the way, is your main fusion material for your fusion monsters, as they require Edge Imp Sabres, which is this card. Also keep in mind, King of the Swamp can be a substitute for this, so yeah. Then we have your Fluffal Bear. This card only has one use, discard it, and in doing so, you can search for your Toy Vendor, which is a really powerful card in this deck list, especially in combination with your Fluffal Wings. Because this card allows you to discard one card to draw one card, show it if it's a Fluffal monster, you can summon it straight to the field, by the way, making it really easy to get 2 monsters on field for your Orcust combo. And then, if this card is ever sent to the graveyard, you can search for a Fluffal monster straight from the deck list, which, when this card's in the graveyard, allows you to draw one card, then you can draw another card by sending your continuous spell to the graveyard. In doing so, it gives you another search. So these 2 cards combined will basically draw you a total of like 3 cards and give you a search. Crazy combo, you'll see it during the gameplay, it's basically the bread and butter of this deck list. Finally, we have your fusion monsters. Now, the only 2 fusion monsters that really matter are these 2. This guy is basically just a beat stick, and like I mentioned earlier, he's only in here for his name, or his fusion requirements. Your main one is your Tiger. On summon, this thing can destroy everything on the field based on the amount of Fluffal monsters are used as its material, or just monsters used as material in general. So in general, this card will be destroying like 3 to 5 cards, or it may be even more if you use this fusion spell, because it can use stuff in graveyard as material. This thing will just nuke the entire field, and that leaves you with just basically an empty field as you do all your Orcust stuff, or summon cards like your Wolf. Wolf, when summoned, based on the amount of materials used for its summon, it can attack that many times. So if your opponent has an empty field, this card will just kill them. Sorry, I forgot to actually cover the Owl. This card is basically your normal special summon, can add a Polymerization to hand. You won't be using this all that often, which is why I have it at 1. The only times you'll ever be using this is generally if you activate something like a Toy Vendor and you summon a Fluffal Dog from hand, you get to search for a card from your deck. If you don't have a Poly, you can search for Owl, summon Owl, there's your fusion card, so that's the only reason he's in here. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the decklist portion of the video. The rest of the video will be gameplay showcasing this decklist in action, and let's just jump into it. Alright, so today I have 5 replays to share with you guys, all of which were gathered in Legend, and I think you're really going to enjoy some of these replays today, as they are some really goddamn good replays. I'm pretty sure with this decklist, the only games I actually ever lost, which was very few of them, the only games I lost with it were games where I actually misplayed. I looked back afterwards, looked at the replays, and was like, hang on, if I just did something differently, I would have won. And the other one that I lost was a DC, which is a very sad DC, as if I didn't DC, I would have had a sick replay of playing through 3 back row, which would have looked awesome, but yeah, sometimes the internet just decides, fuck you, I guess, so. Alright, so this was against Goki, I believe, and we went first. Yeah, so this deck list, it is really goddamn good at going second, and going first, it now has a play it can make. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our Fluffal Bear, discarding it, searching for a copy of course, your Toy Vendor. I used my Fluffal Dog to search for it. You'll be doing this quite a lot, as Toy Vendor is one of the best cards in your deck. It discards, it draws, and we've got a lot of cards to be like discarding, so. And of course there's a sick combo with another particular card, which you'll see in a later replay, I believe, if you haven't seen this one already. Alright. So because we drew into a Fluffal monster, we can then special summon it thanks to Toy Vendor's effect. Summoning it, so we have 2 monsters on field, we can go into Knightmare Phoenix. Normal summoning Imp Chain, going to the graveyard, gives us a search, so we can add our fusion spell for later. Alright, then we're just going to do the standard Knightmare stuff plays, you would have seen this stuff before. Going to our Orcust, going to our other Orcust, banish, send, banish, summon Harp. Shuffling back to the deck, grabbing our trap card, ending on Dingirsu, and of course, that's just ending the turn there. Oh, sorry, Dingirsu, sorry. I get the names mixed up. Right, adding back, oh yeah, and adding, and special summoning the Sabres back to the field by shuffling a card back into the deck. Oh, sorry, putting a card back on top of the deck list, so we are guaranteed to draw this Fluffal Dog unless our opponent shuffles our deck anyway, so don't particularly mind putting it on top. And generally, I don't mind putting an extra monster on the field just to make sure we don't die. As this field, it's fairly weak. Obviously, we have the 1 lot of disruption from this, and we have 2 lots of protection from destruction from your Dingirsu, but obviously, it's not the most insane field, so just 1 lot of extra protection can make the difference. And it's not like, you'll see, when a turn passes back to me, I can just play the game like nothing else. Even with just 2 cards in hand from the 1 draw of our dog and our fusion in hand. Alright, so our opponent's going to summon out a Jet Ogre. Claw effect, getting a couple of searches. I'm not going to disrupt any of this, by the way, as there's literally only one thing to do with it. There's only 1 target with Goki that you want to hit, so I'm just going to wait for it. Just waiting for him to summon the Link 3, because as soon as it does, you just remove it and they can't play the game. It summons the 2 dudes back, goes into the Link 3, and then we remove it. Because even if he has the spell to bring back the monster, it's still hella awkward. Because you can't do an extra normal summon because there's no zone to point to. It's Dingirsu, remove it. He activates his Goki return, summoning to the field, but he literally has no arrows pointing for an extra normal summon, so he still can't play, beats over my dude, and passes back. And I have absolutely I can go full combo here. I've got my goddamn Orcust shit in the graveyard, so I can summon back my Dingirsu if I like, which is probably already enough for some sort of near lethal. We've got the fusion, but you get a surge here. Grabbing a hold of our wings, and here's the combo I was speaking about earlier. Vendor, discard wings, draw 1. Then we can then banish another Fluffal, draw 2. Vendor goes to grave, add a card to hand. That is literally 4 draws right there, or 3 draws and a surge. Crazy. And this is why, like I said, I wasn't particularly worried about losing 1 extra card of value to summon an extra shield to protect myself, because, yeah, I could just draw a billion cards. Alright. I'll replay number 2. I'm almost certain this is actually the best going second deck in the game by quite a mile. It feels so goddamn strong. If your opponent has 3 back row, you can play through it. If they have 3 back row and a targetable monster that is indestructible on the field, you can still play through it. It can be pretty crazy. You'll see. Hopefully you've seen some of these other replays. I'm not really sure how many going second ones I recorded, but they were really damn good. Oh, this guy made a fatal mistake. Trying to Iblee lock the player playing the Orcust. Oh, damn. I would not recommend that right now. Yep, there's an Iblee. He just gave me a free mermaid. So I can literally just do full combo without a normal summon. Full Orcust combo, that is. Yeah, the only thing to watch out for with this deck list in regards to locking yourself is the mermaid is a water monster, and so is and fire is the Phoenix, so make sure you don't use your Orcust monsters if you still plan to go for your Knightmare monsters first. You should do obviously you want to, it's very rare you'd actually need to do that, because generally you start your Orcust combo off of your Knightmare monsters, but it did come up, I did misplay because of it and lose a game, because I forgot these guys are actually, yeah, they're not dark. Because the actual fusion monsters themselves, they're all dark, all their effects are dark, so you can use them after using all your Orcust stuff, that doesn't matter. The only actual locking that matters is your Knightmare monsters. Kind of weird that I brought that up right now, but I kind of thought about it because we had Iblee on the field. I'm like, oh, it's an Iblee lock. Oh, I should probably mention that. Alright, some the Dingirsu, blah 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 blah. Sets 1 trap card and passes. Absolutely garbage field. Alright, summon out my mermaid. Getting a discard, summoning my Orcust stuff. He's going to book a moon, so I can't go any further. Or so he thought, because I haven't even normal summoned yet. Summon my Fluffal Dog, adding my Fluffal Wings. Toy Vendor, discard, and here's my draw a billion cards. Again, hitting a poly, unlucky, but it's fine, I still draw 3. Which I don't even do yet, apparently. Summon my Tiger. Oh, actually, I didn't think I had a second Fluffal in grave yet. Did I? Oh, yeah, I don't think I had a second Fluffal in grave yet, because I had to fusion summon first. Now I can do it. Also, I'm destroying my own, Knightmare, not targeting his Dingirsu because it protects itself. So I'm just going to target my own Knightmare monster. What did I target? I did target his monster. Never mind. But I just wanted to put my own monster, put it in grave so I could do Orcust stuff, which I'm now going to do. Summoning an Automaton. Shuffling back in, getting my dude. I'm going to my Knightmare Unicorn now, which is really good because this card's immune to destruction, and we need it off the field, and he concedes before I can play any further. What an absolute loser. I didn't even get to draw a billion cards from the stuff I had in grave. Come on, man. Let me draw a billion cards. Alright. Yeah, so even if he had more disruption there, I still would have kept playing the game. I would have just ignored it. The only thing that was kind of scary, though, was the Dingirsu being immune to destruction can be kind of rough, because it means I have to use my own Dingirsu to remove it. Because your monsters from this dude don't actually get through destruction and protection very easily. Alright, Fluffal Dog searching for my wings. Perfect hand, because now I can use my Toy Vendor, discard a card. Alright, go for my Knightmare stuff, and now I have 2 Fluffals in grave to draw a billion cards if I like, but I choose to go, I believe, full Orcust combo first, so that I don't accidentally draw into them. Likewise, I use my search my vendor first, so I don't draw into it as well. So I don't want to draw into my Orcust stuff, that would be dumb, so I'm just going to use all my Orcust cards first, then go for my billion draw. So you have a refield for the following turn. And I think I've got some really goddamn lucky hands, to be fair, with a lot of these replays, because I didn't have any hands where I had to use the skill. Alright, summoning the Evening Star, blah 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 blah. And then we get drawn. Right. And Imp Sabres summoning self for an extra shield and passing. And we have a Fluffal Dog for follow-up, and we have a Fusion for follow-up. He has Cosmic, don't care. As long as he still has to get through this massive shield. And if he does get through it, he still then has to survive my follow-up, which will be pretty damn crazy. I think he actually, this particular deck list does have some lines that can. Like if he goes into Trishula, it can banish these three, I believe. But then he can't lethal me with Trish. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not super versed in the Synchron deck, but I'm pretty sure it can remove this field very easily, but it won't be able to lethal me if it does. And doing so, go to the following turn, and I just lethal him in response, I'm pretty sure. Actually, he banished Harp, so it would have been kind of difficult. I think I still had lethal though, even with Harp banished. Yeah, because I still summoned the other Orcust from the deck, and I had all these special summons in hand. Alright. Summons these two dudes, for some reason thinks this Red Dragon Archfiend's gonna be enough. I just protect myself twice, I'm like, okay, cool. Last the turn, A just concedes before I even get to do my stuff. Real lame these people were conceding before I can show off the full, you know, splashing out of this deck, but yeah. You'll definitely see in the final replay I get to do it a bit, because I did misplay, and I don't think, did I misplay? No, my opponent had a weird trap card. Yeah, we'll see in the final replay. I did not deserve to win that one. Alright, so once again going first. A lot of going first replays. I really should have saved a few more going second ones. Probably a little disheartened after losing that one due to a DC. Just didn't want to play anymore. Alright. So once again, drew into a copy of your Wings and your Vendor. That's to draw a billion if I want to. Also getting a search of Imp Chain for follow-up on the following turn. Alright, Mermaid, discarding. Of course, discarding this dude because he can summon himself back anyway. Alright, full Orcust stuff. I think this guy was... I forgot what this guy was playing. Oh, he was playing, Phantom Knight. Alright, doing a whole bunch of drawing here. Oh my god, look at just how many cards I've got in hand, man. I've got this field set up where I'm, like, not guaranteed to survive, but it's really goddamn hard to kill me through this. And if they don't, bro, the amount of stuff I've got, and even the follow-up from just the Orcust stuff, how can this deck not be good? Just look at my hand and my field right now. This is, there's no way this deck isn't good. I'd be very shocked if it's not. Yeah, I highly encourage people to give this shit a shot. It's got like the best going second deck in the game, and its turn 1 really isn't that bad. I've got 4 cards in hand, and I've got this field. Alright. There was some really good Dark rank 3 XCs, by the way. You can make one right now. Alright, so just gonna move this Phantom Knight because he can't really do a whole lot if I do. Sets 1 back row. Cool beans, go right ahead, buddy. Gonna start with the Fusion Summon for Tiger to remove the back row. It's only this trap card, which is kind of annoying because it means it's gonna summon a whole bunch of stuff. But I don't really care because, as you're about to see, this deck can attack a billion times, so... Alright, so it's gonna do a very simple one here. I could have done a bunch of other stuff, I guess, just look more spicy, but yeah, I was gonna do very simple. Just want to use my Fusion Summon. Actually, sorry, I'm gonna draw a bunch of cards first. Sorry, had to draw like 15 cards first, my bad. Alright, now we're gonna do a Fusion Summon, summoning out your Wolf, and your Wolf can attack as many times for the fusion monsters you've sent for its material. So, yeah. Summons a Wing, summons another from hand, tries to defend himself with 2 monsters. My Wolf does not give a shit. He's just gonna keep hitting him in the face. Yes, even if he had Disruption that would have removed this and still had that play somehow, he still would have died. Like, he actually still would have died. Alright. Final replay. Now this replay is gonna look real cool, but I did not deserve to win at all. I'm pretty sure it was just my opponent playing bad more than me playing well. Especially considering I just completely unload my entire hand into a trap card that was like, oh, I can't keep playing with that trap card. Because I said this deck could play through like all back row, but one, as you'll see. A card that nobody is playing, but unfortunately it is real cringe for a deck that doesn't actually set up much disruption, especially once it's already used its one lot of disruption, as you'll see. Alright, so discarding, getting a draw, getting a special summon because it was a Fluffal, so we can go into our full Knightmare stuff. Not the greatest hand, as you'll see I kind of don't have many monsters in hand, and I didn't get my draw 52 cards, but it's not the worst. At least we're able to set up our Knightmare stuff. Which is just, honestly, I'm pretty sure going into Orcust combo is just about guaranteed in this deck, especially with using this skill, even though I literally never got to use it. Alright, shuffle back in, grab my trap. You know the drill. There's my Evening Star. Attaching below and passing. Obviously I could have set up one more lot of back row, or one more monster on the field, but like I mentioned earlier, this is one of those hands where I don't really have a whole lot of resources, so I do kind of want to get that extra draw. Even if I do draw a billion off just these two alone, this guy was probably going to be my top deck. If my opponent shuffled my deck somehow, I would have been pretty screwed, so I was happy to sort of keep it. So I'm pretty sure Knightmare Unicorn shuffles the deck, right? So that would have been pretty bad if he just shuffled my dude back in. Well, that goes into the extra deck, I don't know, maybe not. Anyway, we're just gonna remove his monsters so he can't do his Orcust stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is guaranteed to win right here. I'm just gonna draw a billion cards, have so many resources. This back row, what can you do to me, honestly? Fatal mistakes were made. Yes, this looks like a guaranteed win, but unfortunately, I go for my Knightmare Unicorn to bait out the back row. And it's a Blythe Barrier, which against any other deck is completely worthless, because with this many cards in hand with any other deck, you're just going to set up some, like, sick negates or disruption or something, and my opponent just went negative on cards. It'd be a waste of time. Garbage trap card. But against this deck, I don't set up anything. I've already used my Orcust stuff, my Orcust trap card, so I don't set up any disruption. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'm just going to build a wall and pass, because I can't really do anything, because this thing stops me lethaling him. Which is a bit annoying. Also a bit of a misplay here. I don't think I should have used my harp to summon this dude, because it meant that when the turn comes back to me, I have no way to summon him. And this deck summons out a monster that's immune to destruction, which, like I mentioned earlier, this deck has a terrible time dealing with without your Dingirsu, because Dingirsu deals with it easily. So I should have just built some kind of wall, even if it meant fusion summoning, I think, just to keep Dingirsu alive, or engraved, so I can summon him back. I don't even know what my opponent was, I was playing some weird stuff. He had like the big Orcust Link in the extra deck. Because he definitely should have had some sort of lethal, at least if not this turn, the next one. Because by the way, I also had like 15 seconds left on my clock here because I'd wasted so much time. I got really confused when I saw that trap card. I was like, oh, what the hell do I do now? My small little brain was not coping. The cogs were turning in my head. Alright, so I still don't really know what I'm meant to do here, so I'm just like, I'm gonna build a wall. Because I still can't, this thing is so hard to deal with. I could summon out my fusion monster, but doesn't actually destroy this stuff, and he still has his disruption. Because he can use this monster at any point to stop me just nuking his field. And then I still have to get through the disruption from it, and I don't really, yeah, I didn't know what I was meant to do. So I'm like, I'm just gonna build a wall and wait. But for some reason, still has no way to kill me. I'm a bit surprised by that. I'm pretty sure he's just misplayed. There's definitely some way he could have killed me here. Summon out my Cymbal skeleton. There's definitely something I'm missing here too. I'm pretty sure there's got to be some way with this many cards in hand I could have lethal through all that, maybe. I don't know. Maybe someone bait out the Dingirsu protection? I don't know. Alright, but as soon as he got rid of his Dingirsu from the field, I was like, oh, I really hope you can kill me this turn, or things are going to be very rough for you. He also destroys this harp, which gives me my, oh sorry, the Cymbal, which gives me my summon back again. But the main reason I saved this replay, because it got very satisfying when I did win. You'll see, yeah, he summons out Orcust. What is this thing doing in your deck, buddy? You probably just need to have Knightmare Unicorn or something. Anyway, swings in, just a little bit short of killing me. I have 100 life points. Not even close. And you can see his Dingirsu now has no protection below it. So unfortunately for you, I can play through 3 back row very easily when you can't protect it. Banishing everything from my graveyard. Out comes my Frightfur Tiger, which just destroys everything on the field. Just nukes it all. This thing is protected from destruction though, because it's co-linked, I think, or something like that. So I just didn't bother, I just Dingirsu it later. But he tributes it anyway. Book of Moons me, thinking that's enough, but I don't care. I've now got Cymbal Skeleton, summon back my dude, remove this, and I've still got more cards in hand, by the way. Summon out my Daredevil. I also could have summoned out the Wolf for an extra attack as well, but I just wanted to summon this because I didn't get to summon it yet, so... And there's lethal. So not the greatest replay, but it was a hella satisfying ending, so there you go. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this. I heavily implore you try this deck out, as I feel like it's actually just a really good deck list that nobody is trying at the moment, which I don't know why, so yeah, give this deck a shot. Leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, and yeah, hope to see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.